Heavy metal pioneer Ozzy Osbourne, who made his name with Black Sabbath and later on his famous solo career, is facing a challenge bigger than any stage or tour he's ever done. After major surgery and a long recovery, he and his wife Sharon Osbourne gave their first TV interview where they talked about his health in an emotional way. It's been a tough 4 years, but if there's one thing Ozzy has always said, it's that he never gives up. With a fierce love for music, he's fought to keep doing what he loves. Sharon recently gave an emotional speech. The rock and roll community is worried about Ozzy Osbourne's health. What is he going through and how can he continue his musical journey? Let's find out. Ozzy Osbourne, also known as the Prince of Darkness, has ruled the rock and roll scene for more than 50 years, captivating millions of fans with his explosive performances, daring stage moves, and heartfelt moments, from his early days with Black Sabbath to his more recent work with Black Sabbath. Ozzy has had an iconic solo career and is an endless source of inspiration for generations of artists to come. But behind the scenes, he has been fighting silent battles that only those close to him fully understand. These battles include addiction, serious injuries, and near-death experiences. Despite all the hardships, Ozzy has always stood strong and continued to make an indelible mark on the rock scene. And his wife Sharon Osbourne has always been a strong support throughout that journey. But the challenge he is facing now is unlike any other battle he has faced before. His health took a heartbreaking turn when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a degenerative disease that severely affects the nervous system and impairs movement, muscle control, and balance. When the news first came out, fans were shocked and trying to come to terms with the heartbreaking reality that their idol was facing an invisible and relentless enemy. But the real shock came when Sharon Osbourne shared the latest update in an emotional way. In an interview with her son, she said that Ozzy's condition had gotten so bad that he could no longer walk on his own. For people who have seen Ozzy Osbourne perform, the thought of the Prince of Darkness, the once immortal rock star known for his crazy dance moves, now struggling with the simplest movements, is unimaginable. But people who know Parkinson's know how cruel the disease can be. It is a progressive disease that makes it hard to move, balance, and control your muscles, making everyday tasks impossible. Sharon said that the family had hoped that the most advanced treatments would slow down the disease's progression, but the reality was much worse than they had imagined. Every day is a new struggle for Ozzy and his family as they watch the once powerful man who rocked the world of rock slowly lose control of his own body. When they first got the diagnosis, they tried to stay positive, thinking that life might change a little, but they would adapt and carry on. As she did before, Sharon reassured her fans that this wasn't the end of the world. But now that she looks back, she realizes that they didn't fully understand the disease. Parkinson's affects not only the body, but also the mind, eroding the hope and optimism that Ozzy's family had tried to hold on to. Sharon, who had been Ozzy's manager and wife for many years, became her husband's full-time caregiver, seeing him struggle with his own body every day. Even though she worked hard to make sure he got the best care, the harsh reality weighed on not only Ozzy but also the whole Osbourne family. Their children, who had grown up in the fame and glamour of fame, now had to deal with the fact that their invincible father was slowly losing his grip. Sharon, who had held everything together from her husband's career to their home, had to face the possibility that they might have to say goodbye for good one day. She fought with Ozzy, hoped for miracles, and did everything she could to make sure that her husband could spend his last days with family love and music that never died. After years of health concerns, Sharon Osbourne has finally confirmed that Ozzy Osbourne is planning to say goodbye to the stage for good. For a rock legend like Ozzy, this is both a hard decision and an emotional moment in music history. On July 5, 2025, Ozzy will perform a special called Back to the Beginning. The show will be in Ozzy's hometown of Birmingham, which is where it all began. It will be a rare reunion for him with Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, the original members of Black Sabbath. It will be the first time in 20 years that they have shared the stage together. The event is not only a performance, but also a tribute to the fans who have been with him for decades. Birmingham is not only where Ozzy was born, but also where Black Sabbath and heavy metal were formed. In recent years, Ozzy's illness has caused him to cancel many tour plans, which made fans nervous. Since 2019, his family has kept the news about his illness a secret to give him time to adjust, but now Ozzy wants to make this last performance one that people will never forget. He wants to say thank you to all the fans who have always loved him. Back to the Beginning is not only a concert, but also a historical event that marks the end of a legendary journey. Fans will always remember this night's performance and how it changed rock music. In 2020, Ozzy Osbourne and his wife Sharon Osbourne made an emotional announcement on Good Morning America that confirmed what many fans had long thought, that people had seen strange things happen during Ozzy's performances and appearances, like him staggering, looking tired, and losing control on stage. Some thought it was just a sign of getting older, but others thought it might be a sign of a more serious health problem. Ozzy has Parkinson's disease, a neurodegenerative disease that affects the motor system. Over time, simple movements like walking or balancing become very hard and painful. Sharon explained that the disease affects different parts of the body in unpredictable ways, and in Ozzy's case, his legs were the most affected. There were days when he felt better, but those days got fewer and fewer as the years went by. However, Ozzy didn't just deal with Parkinson's disease in 2019. He also dealt with other health problems. A serious fall at home that made injuries from an ATV accident in 2003 worse. At that time, Ozzy had broken several bones and needed metal rods and pins inserted into his spine and neck to stabilize them. The results were devastating. He had to recover for a long time and was in constant pain. His Parkinson's and spinal cord damage made it very hard for him to move around. Walking had become almost impossible for Ozzy, despite his unwavering efforts at physical therapy and rehabilitation. Sharon, who was always positive and strong, tried to reassure fans during this time, but even she couldn't deny that Ozzy's body wasn't strong enough to support the explosive performances he used to be able to do. While Ozzy Osbourne's fans were heartbroken to see him have serious health problems, there's no denying that his life has been a dramatic and shocking. Details of Ozzy's childhood and career show a strong will that overcame adversity to reach the top of rock music. Ozzy Osbourne, whose real name is John Michael Osbourne, was born on December 3, 1948 in Aston, Birmingham, into a working-class family. His parents, Lillian and John Thomas Osbourne, worked hard to support their 6 children. Lillian was a factory worker, and John, who was known as Jack, worked the night shift as a tool maker at General Electric. Growing up in a small home with 3 older sisters, Jean, Iris, Gillian, 2 younger brothers, Paul and Tony, he often felt like he didn't belong, and his dyslexia made school hard. Not only was Ozzy's childhood impacted by poverty, but it was also marked by emotional trauma. At age 11, he was a victim of school violence and had a lot of scary experiences. As a teenager, Ozzy struggled with depression and even tried to kill himself several times. His troubled home life made things even worse. Due to his instability, his mother loved singing, but his father was an alcoholic and there was a lot of domestic violence. Ozzy once said that his childhood was poor and violent because he saw his mother get beaten by his father. These events had a big effect on him and made him rebellious and angry from a young age. When he was 7, he and some friends made a scary game called Hanging Squad, in which they tied up their friends at school. He often got into violent fights on the street with trash can lids, fireplace pokers, and even cleavers. In one particularly serious incident, Ozzy even tried to drown another boy. He later said, "Where I grew up was kill or be killed by age 14. He continued to struggle with his mental health, and in a moment of desperation, Ozzy tried to kill himself by hanging himself from his mother's clothesline. His father found him in time and saved him, but instead of comforting him, he beat Ozzy badly. Ozzy became mentally unstable and started stealing things, especially records, to satisfy his love of music. But the most important event in his life was hearing the Beatles' song "She Loves You" for the first time in 1963. That song made him believe that he was destined to be a rock star. But the road to fame wasn't easy. When he was 15, Ozzy quit school and started working as a construction worker, plumber, mechanic, and slaughterhouse worker at the slaughterhouse, where he killed up to 250 cattle a day. Only fueled his interest in dark themes, which would become a trademark of his performance style. But Ozzy's bad behavior caught up with him eventually. When he was 17, he was arrested for breaking into a clothing store and couldn't pay the fine because his father wouldn't help. He was sentenced to 6 weeks in Winston Green prison and had to defend himself when another prisoner attacked him. He hit the other prisoner with a metal chamber pot as a way of fighting back. Ozzy knew he needed to change his life when he got out of prison. Even though he had problems in school, he had always loved performing. He was in school plays like The Mikado and HMS Pinor, but it was rock music that really interested him. In the documentary God Bless I.A. Osbourne, he talked about how the moment he heard the Beatles, he knew he would spend the rest of his life pursuing rock music. It was his love of music that gave him a purpose, bringing him from a life of hardship to the stage and making him one of the genre's biggest icons. Although Ozzy Osbourne had a rough childhood, music gave him a way to escape and a chance to start over. He started on a journey that would not only change his life, but also forever define heavy metal. From a hard childhood, he became one of the genre's biggest icons, leaving an indelible mark on the history of rock. As the lead singer of the legendary Black Sabbath, Osbourne created a whole new style of music that mixed dark, haunting music with heavy metal. Dark riffs and gritty themes that captivated audiences around the world, from Black Sabbath's eerie opening melodies in 1970 to Paranoid Ozzy's haunting vocals and powerful performance, helped define the identity of heavy metal. In 1979, Ozzy left Black Sabbath, and many fans worried that his career might stop. Instead, Ozzy's solo career took off, and the albums Blizzard of Oz 1980 and Diary of a Madman 1981 not only solidified his position, but also not only was Ozzy the voice of Black Sabbath, but he was also a true artist whose influence went far beyond his former band. Ozzy's influence went beyond his own music and extended to the next generation of artists, from Metallica and Slipknot to a number of other famous rock and metal bands. He was seen as a great inspiration, and he played a key role in bringing heavy metal to a wider audience through his immortal albums and the Ozfest. Over the course of his more than 50-year career, he has not only kept his position, but also helped heavy metal stay popular in pop culture. What makes Ozzy Osbourne unique is not only his musical talent, but also the way he connects with his fans. Even when he's on stage with all the lights on him, he stays true to his fans and close to them. Even though he is a legend, he still has the spirit of a pure music lover who always respects the music. Ozzy's performances have never been boring or lacked drama or daring. From the famous bat-biting incident to the random moments on stage, he always brings unpredictable experiences that make him mark, making him one of a kind. But what made Ozzy's music so special was how it spoke to the hearts of his audience, the outcasts, the rebels, and those struggling with their own demons. That's why his concerts were more than just performances. They were gatherings of like-minded souls, where Ozzy Osbourne overcame a traumatic past to become a global icon. No matter how much time passes, his legacy will live on in the hearts of music lovers. When news of Ozzy Osbourne's last performance broke, fans around the world felt a deep mix of sadness and gratitude. Many took to social media to pay tribute to him and his music, thinking about how much his songs had meant to them. People who had the chance to see Ozzy perform in person talked about how exciting and inspiring each show was. Even people who had never met Ozzy felt the power and significance of this farewell, even though his health was getting worse. In a recent interview on Sirius XM's Ozzy Speaks, he wasn't afraid to talk about how hard it was for him, but he was also proud of what he had accomplished. "It's 2025. I can't walk, but you know what? Even though I complain a lot, I'm still alive," he told Ozzy. "It felt like my legs were stuck to bricks when I tried to walk. Despite this, he never lost his sense of humor or his strong spirit. His wife Sharon always reminded him that even though Ozzy's body was weak, his spirit was strong and never defeated. As Ozzy's last performance approached, he knew it was his last chance to Sharon, who has been with him throughout his career and wants to thank the people who have been with him all the way, will continue to play a key role in keeping and promoting Ozzy's musical legacy. She has been his biggest fan and has helped make sure that his name stays in music history through tribute albums, documentaries, and special events that honor his legendary career. Even though Ozzy Osbourne is leaving the stage, his music and reputation will live on forever, as will his influence. What are some of your favorite memories of Ozzy? What do you think about his decision to hold his last concert? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the video, please like, share, subscribe, and click on the next video on the screen. You won't want to miss it.